wonderful world of Disney.
This is a Hopi Pueblo located in the Indian country of northern Arizona. And my people are performing the ancient eagle dance. The eagle dance honors an Indian boy who lived a long time ago, and the legend has been passed on by our storytellers from generation to generation. It was so long ago that the boy's village has passed into ruins now. This ancient village was known as Wupatki, and when he lived there, it was busy with life. Tutavina was his name, and he was an orphan. He lived with his sister and his uncle, who was the chief and the high priest of the village. Tutavina was the most envied boy in the village because he had been chosen to take care of the tribe's sacred eagle until she was fully grown. He named her Maumana, which means woman of the clouds. The eagle is the only living thing who can soar to the center of the sky. She can fly high up where the gods live. That's why our people have chosen the eagle as our messenger. The other young braves of the Pueblo were jealous of Tutavina. They thought their leader, Crawling Wolf, should have the honor of caring for the sacred bird. As the eagle grew up, Tutavina's love for her also grew. He spent more and more time with her, and the priest was worried about it. For he knew that when the sun reached its zenith on the longest day of summer, the eagle would be killed in a religious ceremony. As the months passed, the bond of affection between the boy and the eagle strengthened. The priest warned Tutavina, "You can water her and feed her without loving her. If you love the eagle, you will be too sad when she is sacrificed." As the days grew longer, Tutavina tried not to think of the eagle's fate. At the conclusion of the ceremonies, the priest would wrap Woman of the Clouds in a blanket and smother her, then pluck out her feathers, say prayers, and let the feathers fly with the wind from the edge of the mesa. As a Hopi, Tutavina knew this was right and necessary, but as a boy, it was hard to accept. Finally, that fateful day arrived. The ceremony had started. The dancers' necklaces of sacred spruce had the magnetic power to bring clouds and moisture. And when the eagle feathers were sent aloft with prayerful messages, the gods would bless our tribe with a bountiful crop of corn. At dawn, the high priest would come for the eagle and kill her. For what Tutavina was thinking, there could be no excuse. He knew the ritual had to be performed. If anyone interfered, it would be like defying the gods. Punishment would be severe. But Tutavina knew in his heart what he had to do. Eagle. At dawn, the high priest discovered that the eagle was gone and set out to search for her. The gods would be angered at the tribe if the ceremonies were not completed. Tutavina was guilty of an unforgivable sin. You have betrayed your people and their gods, said the high priest, and brought dishonor on your family. When the high priest took away Tutavina's necklace, it meant that he took away his membership in the tribe. Tutavina was banished from the village for 12 moons. Even if he returned, he would always be marked as an outcast. His sister made him a doeskin bag and filled it with piki bread. She gave him a jar of water and a blanket, and Tutavina took his bow and arrows. That was all he had. Everybody knew that Tutavina could not survive alone in the desert, and that this was a sentence of death. For many days he wandered, and his trail seemed to be going nowhere. How do you find an eagle in the sky? Except for his sister, the eagle was the only friend he had. 8th day, he ate the last of his peaky bread. He was still hungry. Secretly, he was glad it got away. He didn't think he could eat it anyway. He decided to go for bigger game. Tutavina was pretending he was another deer. During the season when each buck deer wants to be the only one alive, they fight and try to kill each other with their horns. It drives a buck mad if he thinks another buck is close by. Once again, Tutavina spent the night without food in his belly to keep him warm. The search for the eagle carried him into barren country, and it had been a long time since Tutavina had eaten. His stomach was flat and cried for food. The search became an obsession. Under the blazing heat of the desert sun, Tutavina's mind began to play tricks on him. He imagined that he was an eagle. In his hallucinations, he felt the wind in his face and heard its sound in his wings as he swooped down from the sky and through the canyons. A vulture can sense death. Death is what they live by. The woman of the clouds and the boy had found each other. The eagle knew that the boy needed water, and she guided him toward a nearby stream. At last, Tutavina had found what he'd been seeking. After water and rest, the boy's next need was nourishment. And on the desert, wildlife is the only source of food. Fortunately for Tutavina, the eagle is a bird of prey and a great hunter. Soon they were hunting together, and the boy began to learn from the eagle. Tutavina learned to sharpen his five senses in the same way the wild animals have sharpened theirs. He learned to see things he had never seen before, like the right color in the wrong place, the movement when all should be still. ordinary person, a hillside is only rocks and trees. But to a skilled hunter, it is something more. These were wolf cubs, and their mother would not be far away. They were best left alone. But what boy can resist a puppy? Tutavina had much to learn. If a boy's going to live with an eagle, he's got to learn how to climb. A fire needs fuel. It made a good flame, but it didn't do much for the nest. I'll stay here forever and learn to hunt from the greatest hunter of them all. Suddenly, a strange eagle was invading their territory. The stranger performed the challenging maneuvers. He wanted to fight. An eagle's territory is 5 square miles of ground and all the air between earth and sky. It must be protected from intruders. At diving speed, just the touch of a talon will rip muscle and flesh and tear off a heart. The only defense is to meet talon with talon. Then suddenly it was over. Only one eagle was left in the sky. Which one? It was old Mamana. It made Tutavina happy to accept the life of the eagle and forget the village in the past. Tutavina remembered a proverb that said, if a swallow takes a feather turned loose in the wind, a wish will come true. But Tutavina didn't know what to wish for. He was quite happy here. As the days grew into weeks and the weeks into months, old Maumana and Tutavina were quite content. One day he discovered a shrine. They were pictographs that had been left by the clansmen on a sacred pilgrimage. And it was the first time that he was reminded of his people. Tutavina was sad when he left, and he didn't know why. Should he stay here with old Maumana and the creatures of the forest? Or should he return to the people of Wupatki? Tutavina knew he had wronged his tribe, but perhaps he might right that wrong by bringing them the hunting skills he had learned from the eagle. He had to decide soon because his year of banishment was almost over. Within himself, Tutavina fought a great battle. Sadness overcame him more and more. Once more, Tutavina went back to the pictures on the rocks. Although he could not read their meaning, he felt that the rocks had spoken. He would return to his people. Time had come to say goodbye. Tutavina was very sad. The villagers were suspicious when Tutavina returned to Wupatki alive. He was only a boy, they said, and he couldn't have survived in the wilderness all alone. When he told them he had lived with the eagle and hunted with her, they believed that a supernatural power must have looked after him, and they were afraid. The high priest told Tutavina that he could live in the village, but so were dogs allowed to live there. Then he told Tutavina that he could never wear the necklace of turquoise again. The priest gave the command, and from that time on, no one spoke to the eagle boy. Crawling Wolf and the other boys who had envied Tutavina now gloated at his lowly place in the tribe. Tutavina knew that he could never again be a member of the tribe, but he could use his great hunting skills to help his people. Out here in the woods with the animals, it was the way it had been with the eagle. and he found contentment stalking the wild antelope. The boys followed Tutavina to learn his hunting secrets, and often they followed just to harass him. The arrow flew as if it was possessed with magic. Crawling Wolf claimed it was his arrow that made the kill. Tutavina continued to hunt, and he became the best provider for the people of the village. One day, when Tutavina was returning with a fine catch, Crawling Wolf and the boys were waiting, and Crawling Wolf had a mysterious bundle of feathers. You claim to know all about eagles, Crawling Wolf said. Now you have a chance to prove it. Here are some feathers so you can fly.
Soldate!
thongs were stiff and the boys tied them tight. The rawhide cut into Tutavina's skin, and quills of the feathers gouged him. The boys had tied on the feathers to humiliate him. But instead, they only made him realize that these were not his people. These boys and their tribe who had made him an outcast. Then Omamana appeared in the sky. Had the gods sent her? Right in front of their eyes, Tutavina changed. It was unbelievable. And so Tutavina, the greatest of hunters, left the tribe forever. When the eagle flew away, that was Tutavina's victory. At last he'd found his rightful place. And from that time on, Hopi boys have danced the eagle dance in memory of Tutavina. Even today, when eagles circle in the sky, we Hopi believe that one of these great birds is wearing the turquoise necklace of our tribe.